Hello, everybody. This is lesson number 71, which I guess got lost, so I have to redo it. And it's called Go with the Gut. Lesson 71. I had an old friend of mine, very smart, very wise guy, and he said, Jason, you always know the right thing to do. And he was kind of giving me a compliment, and he said, you do. And he said, go with the gut. And I didn't quite understand what he said until I got older. And what that means is the modern world, with all of its language, words, phrases, tends to confuse what we know is right. Your basic first impulse, if you're a healthy person and you're not screwed up with a lot of indoctrination from our colleges and things, but if you're a healthy person that has a pretty realistic view of the world, and you've seen things, and you're fair, and you're looking at the world without an agenda, your basic gut feeling is usually accurate. We're often taught not to do that, and we usually confound things. And I'll give you an example. I've heard, and I probably don't have all the facts right about this, but there was some military experiment where they took a bunch of expert from the war school, war colleges, and military experts, and they pit them in a scenario, and they took like Wall Street traders, and then, if you move this many tanks this way, or this many guns here, or this many planes here, and they actually fought like a simulated battle, and apparently the Wall Street stockbrokers just destroyed all of these generals that was their life. And the Wall Street stockbrokers didn't know any of the rules of war. They didn't know what you were supposed to do when this happened or that happened. And all these people at the war colleges were trained at it and very expert at it, and knew it very well. And at the end of it, they said, well, what did you do? And the Wall Street traders, who apparently were kind of in the realm of trade, buy, sell, they didn't think about anything. They just went with their instinct. They didn't conceptualize a bunch of stuff. If something didn't feel right, they changed it, something else. And so they were much faster at making decisions and more accurate with their decisions. And they totally whipped the military strategists who were trained classically. Another example of that, and one of the reasons for that, is by the time you process all the things going on and weigh, it's too late. It's not only slow, but it also can be inaccurate. For example, I heard of another experiment. I can't footnote it now, but they took people and they put galvanic skin responsers on their fingers and stuff on them, and they played with, say, and if I have these facts wrong, they're still accurate enough to illustrate my point. Say a blue deck and a green deck, and the green deck was a good, honest deck, and the blue deck was slightly stacked against them. If they would, by about 5 hands, if they picked up the blue deck, their skin responses and things showed that they were getting a little nervous. They kind of, their gut, their body, their metabolic responses were such that they didn't like that. But it took them about 50 hands of cards, I don't know what game they're playing, before they could actually articulate, I think that deck is unlucky, or I think that deck is not fair, or whatever, or it seems like that deck is. And so what this illustrates is you often get a feeling of something being wrong long before you can conceptualize, articulate why it's wrong. And this is true. I'll give you another example. Some girl's walking down the alley, and this guy's, she don't like the way he looks. Don't go near him. Don't walk. Well, why? You don't judge a book by its cover, and give people the benefit of the doubt. She has all these little intellectual things going on in her head, but her gut is like, I don't feel right. If you don't feel right, get out of there. This is lesson of go with your gut. If you don't feel right about someone, something, some place, some deal, some whatever, it's probably wrong. Now, the reason for this is Your conscious brain is 10% of your brain. 90% of the stuff going on in the world you don't understand. You get an old cop that's, and I don't even know if these cops exist anymore, but the old cops that would walk the beat and look around, they see a guy and they go, oh, he's up to no good. And I do know this happens. People that work in, my friends that work in shoplifting, and they know he's trying to shoplift, and they can't tell you why. Probably it's the person in the store is looking around to see if anybody's looking. He's maybe dressed in a baggy clothes that can put something in it. He's probably got his hands in a little more body position. Maybe he's got running shoes on. Maybe 100 things subliminally that you don't pick up on consciously, that the trained person that's had experience after experience after experience is like, no, he's trying to shoplift. Cop on the beat, no, he's looking at how he's not looking at a house just like a person walking his dog. He's like looking to see what the lighting is. He's looking at is there any corner? Is there an escape route to run? You know, people can't really articulate why they are feeling this way, but they are. And it's go with your gut. There's a lot of subliminal, instinctive things going on in your body that you don't have to justify. If you're at a college and this guy's talking to you and he gives you the creeps, you don't have to justify that and say, well, I better give him a chance. No, you're being stupid if you do. Same thing if you're, let's switch it. Say some girl is like, oh, and you think, oh, she's just out, gold digger. Then she probably is. Although men are often incredibly stupid about that, although women probably are too. A business deal, then we'll go that way. It's just there's a lot going on under the surface that your gut knows, and I don't even know if it's, when I say go with your gut, I'm obviously not saying go with your intestines, but I'm saying go with your basic animal. I'm basically saying go with your subconscious mind that gives you the feelings that you better get out of there. And I'm an evolutionary biologist. I always go back to the reasons things are. They're probably, you could have an old Homo erectus mother by the stream, and she's looking at it and she says, a crocodile, that's deep enough for a crocodile. The water's murky enough for a crocodile. There's tracks where I better be apprehensive. Well, she probably didn't intellectualize all that. She probably just felt, and she reacted. And when she felt that way and took care of it, her baby survived, and she passed those genes on to the next baby and the next baby. And I don't know if I said Australopithecine or Homo erectus, but where the next mother did the same thing and or didn't do it, and this kid died. And you get an idea. You have a lot of gut wisdom where your feelings are probably more accurate than you intellectualize. Our language is very poor and weak and slow, and now with so much indoctrination and miscommunication and miseducation going on, we actually are taught wrong things. So check yourself. I knew a woman that she'd married a couple drunks. And she said, I recognize a boozer. She was never going to do it. It might have been the capillaries in his nose. It might have been the blood vessels in his eyes. It might have been whatever it was. She could tell if someone she said, I know he's a boozer. And I say, how do you know if he's a boozer or not? Oh, yeah. Cops, teachers can look at, after I know old teachers that have taught class after class. I know a woman that taught, I think it was third grade or fourth grade for many, many years. And she had seen kids and they'd grow up if they were criminals or not. And she knew then. Not that people are, stuck in things and can't change and all that, but there is a intelligence of your gut, and there's a reason you're feeling that way if you're mentally healthy. Now, there's some people that see, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Well, then you're just screwed up. You're a bad individual. And I don't mean bad, morally bad. I mean, you're an uncalibrated instrument. So if you're a hammer and everything looks like a nail, if you're expecting every woman to be bad, or every man to be bad, or every person of certain creed, whatever, to be bad, you'll see that all the time. But if you're open-minded, you've calibrated your instruments, and somebody gives you an icky feeling, trust it. And at least until you validated to make sure it's not, you're wrong. Treat people fair and do the right thing, but don't discount your feelings. Don't discount your gut feelings. Your first impression should be, and that's one thing in when you're trying to become a better person, a more self-actualized person. You should look at yourself and see if you're right or wrong about people. More often than not, I've seen people say, I didn't like her when I first met her, and then I did, and then I found out she was this way, or he was, or whatever. So anyway, this is lesson, I don't know what lesson is it, 71, I believe. 71, go with the gut. And I hope this helps somebody, something to think about. Bye.